this is my review of My Hero Academia. Okay, so this episode is mainly to catch us up on all the main characters, as well as explain a couple of story elements for what's to come for the next season, which is what the typical first episode of any anime typically does. So at the start of the episode, we're introduced to a journalists company, a reporting group, who are having a bit of a hard time finding a story on All Might that hasn't already been covered. It's at this point where we're introduced to the answers to their prayers. Taneo Tokuda, a freelance reporter who agrees to get them a really good story. And sure enough, he thinks he has one, as he was able to follow a series of plot threads that landed him right to where All Might's successor would be. He was able to accurately follow along with what was going on with All Might, and he was able to accurately predict who All Might's successor was, or at least narrow it down to a focus group. So, he narrowed it down to a general group. He narrowed it down to Class 1A, he narrowed it down to one of the students in there, and he realized that he would need to now look for who the actual successor was, based on what All Might would be considered worthy as a successor. And sure enough, the journalist agency lets him get the story and pulls a bunch of strings to help him get into Class 1A's dorm room, so that he can accurately get close to them and figure it out. And he does all this under the guise that he's doing a journalist piece on dorm life, and sure enough that's exactly more or less what he's there for. But mostly he's there to try and figure out who All Might's successor is. And throughout the day, he tells Class 1A, determining all of their quirks and how they work, and who would be the best fit for All Might's successor. Eventually, as expected, he narrows it down to Izuku Midoriya, pointing out that he realizes that not only is he the kind of person that All Might would trust with his quirk, but he also has a very similar quirk type to All Might's himself. Sure enough, his suspicions are confirmed when All Might walks up to the Class 1A dorm rooms with a bag of meat buns under his arm, and gives them to Midoriya, and points out that yes, he plans to help Midoriya train some more, and also that he's also went out for a checkup, and also establishes that the two do have a relationship, a very positive one at that. So, at which point Tokuda confronts Midoriya with what he knows, and also points out that All Might actually saved his fire from the incident that made him famous. So, the initial incident that caused All Might to go viral and become famous, Tokuda's father was in it, and without thinking, he used his camera to snap a picture, and then lays his suspicions out on Deku, pointing out that he believes that he is the successor for All Might. And sure enough, Deku doesn't deny it, because he's Deku. He knows full well that's not right to lie to somebody if they figure it out. And Tokuda realizes his suspicions are correct, and also reveals that he took a picture of the whole incident with his quirk, which enables him to summon camera apertures from every inch of his body. So, yeah, he even points out that his quirk is actually very useful for his line of work, which is expected. But he also realizes that he should put up his money where his mouth is, and points out that he's sorry he lied to Deku about what the initial purpose of his visit was, and points out that he plans to do an expose on Deku when he becomes the next symbol of peace. However, for the time being, he plans to keep Deku's secret, and then leaves without saying a word, only stopping to snap a selfie with Deku using his quirk, and then leaving. At which Uraraka sees all of this play out from the window, and asks Deku if he's coming to dinner, and then asks him what it was the reporter wanted to talk to him about. And while Deku doesn't elaborate what exactly it is, he does point out that All Might brought meat buns with him, and he gives them all to Class 1A because that's what All Might intended them to do. And sure enough, Takeo is a man of his word, and instead of giving them the story of who All Might's successor is, instead points out that All Might likes meat buns as his story. So he doesn't come back in. He doesn't completely come back empty-handed, but he isn't able to actually give them the story. So yeah, overall this episode was great. It was just a great way to ease people back into My Hero Academia if they haven't watched it in a while, which, considering the sizable gap between seasons 3 and 4, is not surprising. But this episode does what it's supposed to. It's supposed to reintroduce us to all of the characters. It's supposed to reintroduce us to what their powers are and what they've done, and it's also supposed to reintroduce us to All Might and Zeku's legacy as this new symbol of peace. So overall, it's supposed to familiarize us with what happened in the last season, while also explaining what's going to happen in the future seasons. So yeah, this episode does its job well. I liked it, and I thought it was interesting. We probably won't see Takeo again. He seems like he's gonna be a one-off character because seems like he's familiar. He seems like he's going to be a one-off character because he feels like he's only original to the anime, and I'm not entirely sure if he's been adapted into the manga yet, if at all. But he is unique to the anime, and I don't know if he'll come back. He might, but we don't know for sure because the series is very early. I kid you not. I kid you not. The creator makes this stuff up as he goes, so we're not entirely sure how far along the story actually is. We know they're in their first year of school. That's it. We know they're in their first year of school, and eventually will be in their second year of school, but we don't know for sure after that. But in any case, that was my review of My Hero Academia. What did you guys think? Let's get a discussion going in the comment section down below, or over on my Discord server, link in the description. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, be sure to follow me on Facebook and on Twitter in the description below. And also check out my Patreon in the description below as well. It's only a couple bucks a month. It really helps me out, and you guys get access to a bunch of cool perks that are my way of saying thanks. So be sure to check those out in the description below as well. Again, it's only a couple bucks. It really helps me out. So be sure to help me out, and I'll help support you guys in turn. But in any case, thank you guys so much for watching. And until next time, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace!